Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Happy Monday. In our top story, the St. Thomas St. John District of the Board of Elections, they conducted a meeting with the judges of the Turnbull Library and Gomez School to receive a formal report from each judge concerning the general election day. Well, as of Saturday, no change in the unofficial results. District Board Chair Arturo Watlington said the absentee ballot only helped to widen the lead for Police Chief Dwayne DeGraff, who has been battling out for a newcomer, Janelle Sarov, for that 7th slot. The district board has gone through almost all of the 353 absentee ballots. Now, the deadline for returning absentee ballots is November 18th. Watlington said the board hopes to certify St. Thomas and St. John by November 19th. The St. Thomas St. John District Board of Elections continue the counting of the absentee and provisional ballots in the election system conference room on Wednesday, November 16th at 6 p.m. Provisional, November 19th at 6 p.m. Last absentee, November 22nd at 6 p.m. Certification of general election. We will have more details coming up in the week. Virgin Islanders interested in serving in the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump may now apply for a position. The Trump presidential transition will be responsible for filling over 4,000 positions at a variety of levels of the federal government, including the Virgin Islands-based positions of U.S. Attorney, U.S. Marshal, and Judge in the Federal District Court. The Republican Party has given President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Pence its full support, said John Canegata, chairman of the Republican Party of USVI. President-elect Trump, he said, made it very clear that he will not forget the territories. By long-standing custom, a sitting president consults the leadership of his political party in a state or territory without a U.S. senator of the same party when making appointments. Virgin Islanders may apply for a position in the Trump administration by logging on to the website. President-elect Donald Trump has started to pick the members of his White House administration team, but there's still a number of key positions that we just mentioned that will need to be filled before Trump's inauguration in January. Diane Gallagher has the latest from Washington.
Members of the transition team showing up for their first full week of work.
This week you'll hear some additional appointments.
Vice President-elect Mike Pence, the transition leader, spoke in Indiana Monday about exactly who they're looking for.
It's all about finding men and women who have the character and the competence, the vision that Donald Trump has expressed.
But some are already questioning Trump's inner circle selections. On Sunday, Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus was named Chief of Staff. Priebus will serve as an equal partner to Trump's newly named Chief Counselor and strategist Steve Bannon, the campaign CEO and controversial former head of the far-right-leaning Breitbart News. Now, critics, pointing to a history of incendiary pieces published under Bannon's watch, are concerned about the tone that he may bring to the West Wing, especially as racial tensions and reports of harassment escalate across the country. The Trump team is defending the appointment.
People should look at the full resume. He's got a Harvard business degree. He's a naval officer.
And the president-elect has a message for any of his supporters who may be harassing minorities.
Don't do it. That's terrible, because I'm going to bring this country together. I say stop it. If it helps. I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
Turning our attention back at home to the crime reports on Sunday, November 11th at approximately 3:51 a.m. Units from the Marshall Command Station were dispatched to the Corner Pocket nightclub in Kings Hill, where there were 4 gunshot wound victims. Here's more from VIPD.
On Sunday, November 11th at approximately 3:15 a.m., units from the Marshall Command Station were dispatched to the Corner Pocket nightclub in Kings Hill, where there were 4 gunshot wound victims. Upon officers' arrival, preliminary investigations revealed that several shots were discharged from the club entrance door, where 4 individuals inside the club were injured from gunshot wounds. 2 female and 2 male victims. The individuals were transported to the Wang Iflui Hospital, 2 by ambulance and 2 by private vehicle. All 4 victims were treated at the hospital for non-fatal injuries sustained by the gunshot wounds. The Criminal Investigations Bureau is actively moving on this incident and requesting your assistance in this case or any other crime in the territory as the VIPD continues to make more arrests, curbing crime here in the territory.
29-year-old Falak Amrani, corrections officer with the Bureau of Corrections, was arrested on Friday, November 11th for introduction of contraband into the Golden Grove Correctional Facility. Ms. Umrani was detained by another correction officer and was arrested at her place of employment by the VIPD. She was found to be in possession of 1.5 ounce, which is 45 grams of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and cell phone and charger hidden on her person and in her bag. Bureau of Corrections Director Rick Mulgrave said security measures at the territory's detention facilities have been beefed up under his leadership. This kind of behavior is most unfortunate and is not going to be tolerated. He said they have taken significant steps in recent months to prevent contraband from entering the prisons. On November 11th at approximately 7:15 a.m., 911 call center received a report of a male lying on the ground in the area of Bournefield, St. Thomas, with what appeared to be blood to the upper part of the victim's body. Units from the Richard Colwood Command, along with units from the Investigation Bureau, traveled to Bournefield, where contact was made. The male was pronounced dead on the scene by EMTs. He was later identified as Myron Royer, who was 30 years old. This case is being investigated as a homicide. Please call VIPD if you have any information. Meanwhile, the body found in the well in Estate Richmond on January 15th has been positively identified through DNA testing. 54-year-old John Bastian of Estate Richmond in Christiansted. Now the family has closure and the VIPD thanks them for their cooperation in this matter. The incident took place on January 15, 2016 when police were called to a decomposing body that was discovered in an abandoned well in the bush area south of the Contentment Road. The body was extracted from the well by members of St. Croix Rescue using a Stokes basket, and the remains was in approximately 3 feet of water when the victim's body was discovered. Now, the VIPD is also seeking cooperation from the community who have a family member or friend missing. The unidentified remain of an adult male that was recovered on Mahogany Road in the vicinity of the Crusher on July 21st, 2016 is still unidentified. He was a black male with short gray hair and facial hair, approximately 5'6" and between medium and slim build. Please help police bring closure to the family regarding their son, father, or relative. And you can call the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 340-712-6092, 340-778-2211, Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911. And there was a need to help victims of crime. So the members of the VIPD Crime Advocate Program, they put the call out to other members and officers of the VIPD, and this was the result. An overwhelming response: men's and women clothing, shoes, and more. They say these items will be available in both hospital districts and the headquarters, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. And if you know a victim in need of clothes, please do not hesitate to call the Crime Advocates or share this information. On St. Croix, you can call 340-643-0295, or St. Thomas, it's 340-642-3101. Here's more on that.
We got the bright idea to send out a request to our coworkers and ask for their clothing that they're discarding, because we noticed that there was a need to help our victims of crime. Sometimes when they go into the hospital and we take their clothing either for evidence or because they can't use them anymore, we have something now to share with them so that they could change into something and go home with some decent clothing.
It doesn't matter who you are, what sex you are. The whole idea is that we're trying to make this terrible situation the best possible. So please, if you know a victim that might be in need of any kind of clothing, they don't even have to worry about going to the regular clothing thrift shops. They could call us at the police department in St. Croix.
And keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the numbers. Taking a look at the stock market watch, we can see the Dow up 21, NASDAQ up 18, S&P 500 down. Coming up on News 2, much more straight ahead, including highlights from the Veterans Day Parade on St. Thomas. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Virgin Islanders across the territory celebrated Veterans Day on Friday, and we shared highlights from St. Croix with the parade that was held. Now, here are the highlights from St. Thomas's events that were held immediately following. Officials flew directly to St. Thomas to observe the ceremonies there. The St. Thomas event began around 3 p.m. and featured a parade downtown waterfront, which turned into the direction of Main Street and finally ended at the Franklin Roosevelt Veterans Memorial Park. Here's more.
Acknowledge that we have much to do as a nation in ensuring, one, that our veterans are cared for. The people of the Virgin Islands continue to step up to the plate and to try to fill the void in providing services to our veterans. We buy land and make sure we sell it to veterans at a very affordable price so they can have homes. Yes, we pay for their education at our university, bachelor's and associate degrees. And yes, Senator Harrigan, I can tell you that I am pleased that I have already signed your bill extending PhD education, doctoral education to our veterans, and Director Farrell reminds me that that's a program already funded. So we thank you for your leadership in that regard as well.
Virgin Islands Department of Education, St. Thomas St. John District, the Office of the Insular Superintendent, they're notifying parents of the early dismissal of all public schools on Thursday, November 17th. Dismissals will take place 3 hours before normal release times, and they are necessary to accommodate monthly job-embedded professional development for teachers. They say lunch will be served before students are released, and buses will be dispatched to schools to transport students to their normal drop-off locations. School will resume at normal times on Friday, November 18th. And again, this is St. Thomas St. John. Those are the times right there. Cancrine at 12, CAHS at 12:10, BCB 11:25, Eudora Kent 11:50, Sprouse School at 12, and EWAA at 12:10, Abraham at 11:40, Muller School 11:40, Dober 11:45, Jenny Twitt 11:35, Lockhart School 11:45, EBO 11:45, Gomez School, Joseph Gomez, that's 11:40, and Yvonne Bowski at 11:40 a.m. The 20th anniversary luncheon of the Nigel HODGE Foundation was held at Yacht Haven Grand, and the following individuals were honored: Francis Eva Donovan and the late Vita Williams for their faithful service to the foundation and the community. Many children and their families benefited from this organization. Medical supplies and equipments were donated. Scholarships were given to aspiring medical students. Airline transportation for patients and their families were provided, and monetary donations were given to the pediatric ward of the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital. The Nigel Hodge Foundation was established in memory of Nigel Hodge, who died at the age of 11 from medical mistakes. Hospital grounds redesigned charrette. That begins Wednesday, and the public is encouraged to assist in planning improvements. The community is invited to share their ideas, suggestions, and concerns as plans are laid to improve one of St. Thomas's most historic neighborhoods. Discussions will begin at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, November 16th, following brief remarks from Governor Kenneth Mapp, who has pledged to clean up and redevelop the hospital ground area. The governor has urged residents to take an active role in this week's design workshops, as important decisions will be made in regard to renovating Lionel Roberts Stadium, developing a permanent site for carnival celebrations, creating fish and farmers markets, rehabilitating Winston Ramo Recreation Center, and generally revitalizing the surrounding neighborhoods. All sessions are open to the public, and a light lunch will be served to participants. We'll have a little more in Tuesday night's newscast. Senator Jean Ford, who is a member of the Senate Committee on Housing, Public Works, and Waste Management, responded to the recent announcement that federal funding for the downtown revitalization project suspension has written to Public Works Commissioner Gustav James to request information and an explanation. Ford noted that the long-awaited downtown revitalization project, which will substantially renovate parts of the historic downtown Charlotte Amalie area, is critically important to the enhancing the nature of downtown Charlotte Amalie for residents and visitors alike, and that the millions of dollars that hang in the balance are critically important in providing economic activity and employment during the construction phase of the project. Count on two to keep you updated. VI Waste Management Authority, they're advising residents on St. Croix that the Company Street sewer line replacement and manhole rehabilitation project has begun. That project commenced on Monday, November 8, at the intersection of Church Street by the Steeple Building and Company Street and ends at the entrance of the Christiansted Cemetery. St. Croix Inc. has been awarded the contract. The project, funded by government of the U.S. VI Public Finance Authority, will not impact daytime activities in Christiansted. Work on that project takes place overnight from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. with completion expected by January 13, 2017. Meanwhile, are you confused about the plastic checkout bag regulations? Well, here is your chance to learn more and address some concerns. VI Waste Management Authority, they will address the regulations, exemptions, and penalties once this one that will be held in the evening at the Curriculum Center on St. Croix. The next one will be on Tuesday, November 15th at the Cleon Creaky Conference Room, and then Wednesday, November 16th at the St. Thomas Curriculum Center from 6 to 8 p.m. Regulations, remember, go into effect on January 1st, 2017 for retailers, grocery store operators, vendors, and businesses. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Sandy, and good evening to everyone watching at home. Conditions were quite unsettled just yesterday. We picked up a ½ an inch of rain across the Virgin Islands, and here was the culprit, a front of boundary located off towards the north. Now, the nice thing is that front will continue to wash out as we head towards tomorrow, but we still run the risk for a shower or maybe even a rumble of thunder due to those trade winds that are out of the east. Here's a closer look at the islands. You can see we do have just a pop-up showers and storms here and there, and that's pretty much going to be the tendency over the next few days. As far as steady rain, I think it's over. We should be looking at drier conditions here as we head towards tomorrow. Patchy clouds for tonight, still the chance of a passing shower, lows in the 70s. And then as we head towards tomorrow, St. John's looking good, daytime high 87 degrees. Just a shower in spots, but once again, mostly dry here for our Tuesday. We're also in the mid to upper 80s out in St. Thomas with a shower or two around. Grab the umbrella if you find yourself doing any outdoor activities. St. Croix, highs there, 88 degrees Tuesday with a chance of a passing shower. And as we take a look at your marine forecast, waves in the Atlantic are between 2 and 4 feet with winds out of the east. We do not have any warnings or alerts out there. Same deal as we head towards the Caribbean. Those winds are out of the east between 5 and 10 knots. So boating looks to be good, and the next 5 days even better. Now, we're still sticking with the chance of a shower or two here possible through the end of the work week. Temperatures will be coasting in the mid to upper 80s over the next few days. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that. Let's take a look at the News 2 weather picture there by Diana Rosario of Ricardo Richards Elementary School. Looks like some smooth sailing or tense. Not sure which one, but regardless, the weather looks really nice. Some blue skies there, Diana. Hope you have a great, wonderful week starting off the beginning. Send us your News 2 weather picture there to News 2 Innovative Business Center, 4611 Tutu Park, Suite 300, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. Stick around. News 2 Sports comes your way next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. I know we still have one more game to go tonight, but dang, Week 10 in the NFL was something to behold with a number of fantastic finishes. Let's start in the Big Easy. Broncos versus Saints, fourth quarter action, and Drew Brees to Brandon Cooks for the great catch and a 32-yard touchdown. Saints kick the extra point, and it's ball game, right? But the Broncos' Justin Simmons doesn't Air Jordan, blocks the kick, and Will Parks returns it all the way for the two-point conversion. Broncos win 25-23. On to Carolina, where the Panthers host the Chiefs. Second quarter, Cam Newton to Devin Funchess for the touchdown and a 17-0 lead. Game over, right? Wrong. Late in the fourth, score tied at 17, Newton to Kelvin Benjamin, who has the ball ripped out of his belly by Marcus Peters. Chiefs football. 4 ticks on the clock, and Cairo Santos nails a 37-yard field goal for the improbable Chiefs victory. Cruising over to Pennsylvania, Cowboys versus Steelers for a barn burner. Fourth quarter, and the Steelers' Le'Veon Bell with the 1-yard TD. Steelers up 24-23. Cowboys stud rookie running back Ezekiel Elliott glides past the Steelers' D for the 14-yard touchdown. Cowboys are up 29-24. Less than a minute left to play. Shades of Dan Marino versus the Jets. Oh man, that is painful. Big Ben with the fake spike and the great throw to Antonio Brown. Steelers up 30-29. But wait, there's more. 15 ticks on the clock, and Elliott blasts through the line and goes 32 yards for the winning touchdown. Oh man, had enough? Ha! Let's go to Foxborough for the Seahawks and the Patriots. Third quarter, and Pat's LeGarrette Blount with the 13-yard TD romp. Pats up 21-19. On to the fourth quarter. Seahawks up 25-24, and Russell Wilson with the lob to Doug Baldwin for the score. But the Seahawks fail on a 2-point try. Why? I don't know. And they're up 31-24. Last chance for the Pats. 4th and goal from the 1. Brady to Gronkowski. Incomplete. No flags. And the Seahawks grab the victory in Foxborough. Wow, what a Sunday. That's it for sports. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for those highlights, Gary. And that is all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Have a wonderful evening.